Trump's decision to suspend aid to uh, Ukraine is now paralleled by the Slovak MP's Prime Minister Robert Fico's decision, which Andrew Bridgen has just tweeted. The more I hear about Slovak PM Robert Fico, the more I admire him. Brave and true to his people. Pillock, I would suggest. But there we are. The less I like him, says AJ Burton, a Putin fanboy, is how he looks. And Sapper says, I hope he and Orban have beefed up security. Ukrainians have a track record at whacking people who go against them. Well, I don't know about that. But Lawrence Duff says he's a cowardly agent in service of Russia and a traitor to his people, Europe, and to the West. There we are. But the move of Donald Trump has sent this shockwave through international diplomatic circles while simultaneously approving expedited arms shipments to Israel. What's the difference? The contrast between these two decisions couldn't be starker and offers a window into the priorities and the strategic recalibrations of the Trump administration. If you get down on your knees, bow, prostrate yourself, and lick his feet, no doubt you get what you're looking for. On February the 28th, Ukrainian President Zelensky arrived in Washington expecting to finalize a mineral extraction deal and reaffirm US military aid. Instead, he walked into a diplomatic ambush, and what followed was a humiliating Oval Office showdown in which Trump, alongside the gerbil J.D. Vance, berated Zelensky for what they claimed was a lack of gratitude. Trump told, by the way, I should point out that Vance's idea about gratitude is not a new one. He's been advancing this idea consistently for a few weeks now. So he's clearly got a bee in his bonnet. Trump told Zelensky outright that he doesn't have the cards to win against Russia without US support. And according to Trump's national security advisor, Mike Waltz, the US would only resume military aid if Zelensky regrets what happened in the Oval Office, signs the minerals deal, and commits to peace talks with Russia. Yet, as many observers pointed out, Zelensky has repeatedly thanked the United States for its support, both privately and publicly. And Senator Amy Klobuchar was quick to quip, Zelensky has thanked our country over and over again, and our country thanks him and the Ukrainian patriots who have stood up to a dictator, buried their own, and stopped Putin from marching right into the rest of Europe. Shame on you. Even within Trump's own party, some Republican lawmakers have found the move unpalatable. Senator Lisa Murkowski said that she was sick to my stomach at what she saw as the US turning its back on an ally while cozying and aligning with Moscow. The White House, however, remains unrepentant. Trump doesn't do apology, with Trump justifying his move as part of a broader peace strategy. What we need to hear from President Zelensky is that he has regret for what happened. He's ready to sign this minerals deal, and he's ready to engage in peace talks. I think Trump needs to stop treating other equal presidents inequality. These are people of equal merit as inferiors, as children, and move on. So what he should be saying is what we need to hear from President Zelensky is that he's ready to sign this minerals deal and he's ready to engage in peace talks. This sort of apology thing should be for the playground. Trump didn't apologize to Zelensky for calling him a dictator. He said, did I say that? He just has selective amnesia. Well, so should Zelensky. They should treat each other in the same way. Now contrast the Ukraine debacle with Israel. Just days after Trump's dramatic scolding of Zelensky, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued an effusive statement thanking Trump for approving a $4 billion donation of military aid. Donald Trump is our greatest friend, the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House, and Netanyahu declared in a video statement, by sending us all the munitions that were being held up, he's giving Israel the tools we need to finish the job against Iran's terror axis. In essence, while Zelensky was punished for failing to display sufficient gratitude, Netanyahu has been rewarded for his overt expressions of gratitude. The transactional nature of Trump's foreign policy couldn't be more apparent. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, standing alongside Netanyahu, stated that lifting Biden-era restrictions on military aid was a correction of past mistakes. No, it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be a recognition of some sort of licking operation. Trump himself commented that Israel has always been loyal and thankful, in stark contrast to his characterization of Ukraine. The divergence in policy underscores Trump's view of diplomacy as a rewards and punishment game where public displays of loyalty matter as much as global reality. The message is clear. Allies who flatter Trump and align with his worldview will be rewarded. Those who challenge him, even if they are defending themselves against aggression, may find themselves out in the cold. The broader ramifications of this shift remain to be seen. European leaders are scrambling to reassure Ukraine and fill the void left by the US, while French President Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer reportedly have got this new security package, and it's been announced, it's been presented. Whether or not it's going to work, that's another matter. I'm not entirely convinced. Meanwhile, the Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, has been remarkably candid about his approval, noting that US foreign policy is rapidly changing in ways that align with our vision. Absolutely. So where does this leave US credibility? Trump's insistence that Zelensky must apologize before aid resumes is less a peace strategy and more a personal demand for deference. Meanwhile, Netanyahu's continued arms windfall signals that for some allies, flattery is more valuable than battlefield necessity. One can only wonder, is US foreign policy now dictated by the theatrics of gratitude? As Senator Chris Murphy bluntly put it, what you watched was American power being destroyed in the world as everybody watches President Trump becoming a lapdog for a brutal dictator in Moscow. What Trump demands of others, he provides to Putin. Lap, 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 lap. Ooh, can I lick your feet? Or maybe I can move further up your legs, Mr. Putin. It's like sucking on a lolly, isn't it? Given the fact that Putin has been residing in a Smeg fridge for so long, he's turned into what Americans call a popsicle. Perhaps the biggest lesson of this saga is that Trump's world, Trump's diplomacy, is not just about policy, it's about optics, deference, and personal loyalty. And for Ukraine, the price of deference may be its very survival. For Israel, the reward for fealty is $4 billion in munitions. This, by any other standard, would be called imperialism. And that is the state of American foreign policy in 2025.